The world of Amazon FBA can feel really overwhelming, especially when it comes to sourcing the right manufacturer for your product. Finding the perfect fit is very important for launching your business successfully. With so many factors to weigh, it can really feel like a big decision, but don't worry, I've got your back, and in this video, I'll walk you through the key steps to help you find the ideal manufacturer for your Amazon FBA product. And if you watch through this whole video, by the end, I guarantee you should know exactly what to do. There are 6 steps when it comes to getting on the right track, which ensures that you make a great choice for manufacturer. Throughout these 6 steps, I will also share with you the 10 game-changing tips to simplify the process and make it much more easy for you. These tips will ensure smooth transactions with your manufacturer and turn your product idea into reality. Stick around until the end of the video to learn how to successfully get your product manufactured and launch your Amazon business with confidence. So without further ado, let's jump into the first step, finding a manufacturer. There are actually 3 different ways to do this. First off, you can go to websites like Alibaba to find your manufacturer. You can also explore AliExpress if you want. The difference is AliExpress is low volume, Alibaba is high volume and customability with your product. Most people will go to Alibaba. When you're looking at a manufacturer product, oftentimes you're making changes, you're getting a large order in. AliExpress is more often used with dropshipping, as you can order quantities as low as 1. Begin by searching for the product that you want to manufacture. If your product is something unique, just search for products that are similar to yours. That's because these manufacturers can easily adjust designs according to your preferences. Scroll through until you find suitable manufacturers for your products. First, you need to send personalized messages to potential manufacturers. Focus on those with a solid track record, or those with several years in business. Gold status manufacturers are a good sign, but don't skip checking their reviews. Do your research to ensure they're a reputable company. So by searching for a similar product on Alibaba, you'll find high quality manufacturers. If you don't find a suitable supplier on Alibaba, or you prefer to work with someone based in the US, another effective method is through conventions and visiting relevant websites in your product's niche. If you're manufacturing a consumable or cosmetic product and selling that product in the United States, I always recommend getting it manufactured in the US. Finding a US manufacturer should not feel hard. Now let's dive into the first of the 10 valuable tips that I'll share with you. Tip number 1, attend conventions in person and network with those on the show floor. These events are perfect for networking with industry sellers and manufacturers face to face, allowing you to build relationships that can lead to finding the right manufacturer for your needs. By the way, if you're new to my channel, I'm Connor. I've been making money online for over 8 years now, including selling on Amazon for the past 2 years. I've helped countless people achieve success, and I want you to be next. And don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button to stay updated for future content. For example, if you sell food products, try to attend conventions like the Natural Products Expo West. That's one of the biggest conventions for natural products, and it takes place right by here in Los Angeles. If that's not possible and you can't make it in person, then you can just search for the exhibitor list online. You should use the advanced search feature where you can specify your product's type and make sure that you use the quotation marks to ensure the exact phrase appears in the exhibitor's listings. Once you've narrowed down the list, reach out to those companies directly and inquire about their co-packing services if they can manufacture your product. Many of these companies focus on their own products, but sometimes they may have downtime on their production lines, making them open to manufacturing a product as well. For instance, I have a friend who has a gummy making machine for his operation. While this machine saves him money, he's only using it about 5% of the time. That leaves 95% of the time he's an FDA approved facility that he could be manufacturing others' products on. And we worked out a deal to use that facility. You can usually find people like this, and you can search directly for manufacturers or co-packers using specific industry terms to find potential partners. Another powerful method is to use Google Search. The search will give you a range of companies specializing in private label and manufacturing services. It is a fast and easy way to explore options and connect with potential partners to bring your product to life. The next step in finding a manufacturer is reaching out to the manufacturer and gathering essential details about production costs. Now, tip number 2, consider calling the manufacturer instead of just sending a message. If you're dealing with US-based manufacturers, I highly recommend going straight with a phone call. While emailing is an option, making a call builds a stronger connection and shows you that you're a serious potential client. Even if a manufacturer can't directly help you, they might know someone in the industry who can. Building connections is all about networking, so don't be shy to ask for referrals. When someone says that they cannot offer you assistance, always ask if they know someone who might be able to assist you. This is a strategy that can help you build connections in the industry. Keep in mind that time is money, especially for manufacturers. These manufacturers are frequently busy and receive a high volume of messages. By picking up the phone and calling them, you present yourself as more of a legitimate business. Calling them also increases the likelihood that they'll recommend someone else if they can't help you. This can lead to quicker responses and allows you to ask follow-up questions. In contrast, if you choose to send an email or message, the thing is, when they are not able to assist you, they will most likely just end the conversation without without offering any further help in finding a manufacturer for you. Okay, so next is tip number 3. You want to present yourself as a serious and legitimate business. Some people advise against introducing yourself as the founder or CEO. Instead, you might consider using titles like COO or Chief Operations Officer or Chief Purchasing Agent. For example, if you're in the energy gum industry like me, with my product Performance Gum, you can simply search for energy gum manufacturers. This approach can make it seem like you are part of a larger company, which can help establish credibility with manufacturers. But it's still important to remain truthful and professional in your interactions. Another big benefit of using your title is in negotiations. When manufacturers think they're negotiating with a purchasing agent or COO, they don't take things personally. For instance, if you say, "My boss thinks this number isn't quite right," it can make negotiations go smoother. The manufacturers are more likely to adjust their terms since they understand you're relaying information and not making the decisions yourself. This approach can make the negotiation process easier and less personal. But the choice is really up to you. Another approach is the complete opposite, which is to call manufacturers and present yourself as the owner. This method can be effective but comes with a double-edged sword. The upside, people often emphasize with beginners that may be willing to offer more guidance and assistance. But the downside is there's a risk that some individuals might try to take advantage of your inexperience. So what's the call? If you feel confident and comfortable, go for it. Now, tip number 4, when you're just starting out, you don't want to purchase too much or too little inventory. At some point in your conversation with your manufacturer, it's essential to ask about the minimum order quantity, the MOQ. This refers to the smallest amount they're willing to sell you. In general, I recommend ordering about 3 to 6 months of inventory. Think about your sales forecast and use that as your starting point. It can be hard to estimate your sales before you actually start selling, but by using sales estimation tools, you should be able to get at least a ballpark answer. There are 3 main reasons for this approach. 1 is if there's an issue with your order, you're not risking too much money. 2, storing a large amount of inventory can be challenging and expensive. And 3, ordering too much inventory can result in excess stock that will end up just gathering dust in the warehouse. By starting with a manageable amount, you can minimize risk and better handle storage logistics. You also don't want to order too little inventory. If you only order 1 month's worth, you'll quickly run out and have to place another order. Running out of stock fast means more orders and missing out on bulk discounts. Generally, the more you buy, the lower the per unit price is. This then makes your business more profitable. Balancing between having enough stock to meet demand and taking advantage of bulk pricing is key to running a successful and cost-effective Amazon business. This brings us to tip number 5, which is double check your messages before hitting send. Typos and grammatical errors can make your emails look less professional. Take a quick second to proofread because a professional impression goes a long way with manufacturers, especially in the US. I have 4 more quick tips to share before we move on to the next steps on finding a suitable manufacturer for you. These tips will save you tons of stress and headaches down the road, so make sure to like and subscribe my channel if you found this information helpful. Tip number 6, make sure to establish a connection with your manufacturer. Many people treat their manufacturer just as a business transaction, but creating a genuine relationship can be beneficial. A small gift or heartfelt thank you after your first successful run shows you appreciate their hard work. This gesture can make them more inclined to help you in the future. Now, tip number 7, the cheapest option isn't always the best option. Sure, a low quote may sound tempting, but do your research first. Look for manufacturers with proven track record. And remember, quality and reliability will make the investment worth it. And tip number 8, make sure to have a backup manufacturer. Having a backup manufacturer is your safety net. Many sellers encounter problems when Chinese factories shut down unexpectedly, leaving them without a source for their products. If you have a backup manufacturer, you can keep production running smoothly. So now on to the next step, designing your product. Start by defining its dimensions, appearance, and overall aesthetic. Additionally, create a logo and other graphical elements to enhance its visual identity. These elements are important in establishing your product's unique appeal and brand presence. So how are you going to start with designing your product? You don't necessarily need to hire a CAD professional right away. Start by communicating with your manufacturer through emails and messages and describe your product in detail using words and provide them some rough sketches to illustrate your vision. Manufacturers are accustomed to guiding this process and are there to make it as easy as possible for you to collaborate with. When reaching out to them, remember that you need to be crystal clear about what you want from the start. This helps the manufacturer see your vision perfectly. Manufacturers often have extensive experience and their advice can seriously improve your product. They know about the product requirements and can offer suggestions to optimize your design for manufacturability. Unless your project involves highly specialized changes, relying on their expertise can make the process effective and easy. Next up is designing your product's logos and graphics. Do not underestimate the power of your logo because this serves as the face of your brand, representing your company across various platforms. It's what people will remember. Whether you're selling on Amazon, your own website, or through social media channels, a well-crafted logo makes you stand out from the crowd and builds trust with customers. This investment is essential for building a strong brand identity and establishing trust with your customers. There are 2 more tips that I can't wait to share with you. One tip is something that would greatly help with your product, and the other one is the most important thing. So make sure to keep watching these videos. Which leads me to tip number 9, using a professional service, like at FBA Creatives. At FBA Creatives, you'll get more than just a logo or packaging design. They specialize creating custom visuals that capture your brand's essence and resonate with your target audience on Amazon. Their designs are strategically crafted to not only look great, but to optimize customer engagement and drive sales. Whether you're launching a new product or elevating your brand, FBA Creatives uses data-driven insights to ensure your visuals stand out and make a lasting impression on the Amazon Marketplace. If you're interested, you can go to fbacreatives.com and use the discount code CONNOR for 50% off your first order. For a wider range of options, platforms like Upwork and Fiverr offer logo and design services, but be sure to carefully review portfolios to ensure quality. So remember, even if creativity isn't your forte, you can collaborate with creative professionals to bring your ideas to life. Share your ideas and target demographics with them. For example, pink and playful for a feminine product, or bold and edgy for a more masculine vibe. Show them the designs you like, tell them your preferences, and they can assist in crafting your brand that aligns with your vision. The next step is to request a sample from your manufacturer, and I cannot stress enough how important this is. Skipping this step may cause issues for you in the future, so it's really wise for you to insist on receiving a sample. Many manufacturers offer samples for free, and with the customer covering the shipping costs. It's a small investment that can prevent larger headaches for you down the line. The cost of getting a sample made by your manufacturer can vary widely depending on several factors. Complex products with fancy materials might cost more, but hey, think of it as a test run to avoid future meltdowns. So ask about the cost of getting a sample as early as possible. Remember, a sample doesn't have to be your finished product. For example, if you're launching a food product, you can request the product itself without the packaging to do a taste test. The choice is entirely yours to customize the sample according to your specific needs and preferences. The next step is actually paying your manufacturer for your products, which can feel pretty nerve-wracking. This is where you realize that you need to invest your money. Sure, there might have been other steps that would cost you small amounts of money, but paying manufacturer for your production run is a huge investment cost. Personally, the hardest part for me is sending the wire transfer to the manufacturer. It's that moment of truth. It's that black and white decision point where you're fully committed. It feels like stepping into a cave with no turning back. And it's a big step. But remember, it also means you're one step closer to seeing your product become a reality. Actually, there are various methods to send money to your manufacturer. Using wire transfers can be quite scary because unlike credit card transactions, you can't dispute fraudulent charges. With a wire transfer, once it's sent, it's gone for good, even if there's an error in the recipient's details. So it's really important to be mindful of the details. You can use a US bank to wire transfer, which typically costs around $25 domestically. For international, it can be even higher, ranging from $75 to $95. You'll need to provide the bank with the recipient's routing number or SWIFT code for international transactions. And be extra careful when entering recipient information, like routing numbers or SWIFT codes, because typos can lead to unrecoverable charges. PayPal can be a safer option for transferring funds to manufacturers, and especially internationally. However, not all manufacturers prefer it because PayPal's buyer protections allows disputes to transactions, making it harder for them to contest claims if issues arise. Some manufacturers do accept credit cards, although it's less common due to the transaction fees of around 3% that would incur. That's why most manufacturers prefer wire transfers to ensure to avoid these fees. Sending a wire transfer can be emotionally challenging because once you've sent the money, it's gone forever, unless of course, when your business succeeds, then that money will return 100 or 1,000 times more. The fear is so common among many aspiring business owners, and it's natural to feel like you're risking money up front, even though you believe in the product's potential success. Logically, you know the investment should pay off and even bring a lot of profits, but still, the uncertainty can really be terrifying. It's a leap of faith, but believe in your product and the hard work you poured into it, which leads me to the last tip I will give you in this video. Tip number 10. Just keep pushing it forward and continue moving through the process. And I'm mentioning this because there will be a moment in your product's manufacturing journey where the fear sets in, and that's totally okay. But keep pushing forward. You're committing to making your product succeed and business succeed. This commitment becomes a powerful motivator to push through challenges and drive your success forward. Now for the final step, getting your product shipped, whether to your house or warehouse or directly to Amazon FBA. This can be intimidating at first, but it's easier than you think once you understand the process. There are several options available to make this happen smoothly. If you're manufacturing your products in China, using services like DHL or FedEx for air shipping is a quick but more costly option. It typically takes just a few days to arrive, ensuring a faster delivery compared with other methods. Another option is sea shipping, which typically takes around 4 to 6 weeks and involves passing through customs. This method is more economical compared to air shipping. If you opt for sea shipping, you'll need to obtain a customs bond, which costs around $100 for a single entry or $400 for an annual bond. The annual bond is advantageous if you plan to make multiple shipments from China because it allows for numerous entries. For smooth transactions, consider finding and hiring a freight forwarder. You can easily find one by searching online or locally. A freight forwarder will manage the entire process from getting your products from the manufacturer's warehouse to the shipping vessel, handling the custom clearance, in managing all logistics. Importantly, there's typically a duty of around 10 to 20% when importing products from China to the US, depending on your product category. Keep this in mind as you plan your shipping arrangements. Manufacturing costs in China have changed over time due to various factors like duties, shipping expenses, and other costs. Sometimes manufacturers in the US can be just as cost effective depending on your product category. While many items remain cheaper to produce in China, you should still consider all aspects when deciding where to manufacture your product. If you're working with a US-based manufacturer, you'll likely need to arrange shipping through a trucking company. Many offer a less than truckload or LTL shipping, ideal for smaller quantities like 1 or 2 pallets. The costs vary based on distance. For LTL shipments, you can go to freightquote.com. For very small shipments, you can ask your manufacturer to ship directly to you or to Amazon using carriers like UPS, FedEx, or USPS. Actually, people often stress over sending their products to an Amazon warehouse. It's actually super easy. Amazon has made the process easy and as user-friendly as possible. You just need to follow the step-by-step guide where you put in the necessary information. Then Amazon arranges for a truck to pick up your pallet from wherever it's located, whether that's at your house, your warehouse, or elsewhere. Alright, so that wraps up today's video. Let me emphasize that my focus isn't on becoming the top Amazon FBA seller. I'm all about empowering others to create incredible passion products and successfully launch them. I've learned a lot through my experience, that's why I'm here to share those lessons with you. Remember, these tips I mentioned will save you tons of headaches down the road, and my final bonus tip is if you're interested in learning more about Amazon FBA, I have a free course available to you right down there in my description where you can learn every step along the way of launching your product on Amazon, from coming up with the idea to more into the manufacturing to every stage along the way to having a successful launch and making hundreds of thousands of dollars. The link is right there in my description. Please feel free to click that and make sure to leave a like if you've learned something today. I'll see you next video.